bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's.
Why is that a problem, though? I don't understand. Why is this a problem? There's plenty of movies where there's women that are, like, in control and taking charge of the situation. But if this is based on the film Snow White, why would you have a film that's based on Snow White not be Snow White? It would be like making the Aladdin film but not have Aladdin in it. Instead, he's a rich dude. He starts off rich. He's not a pauper. I don't know. It's just bizarre to me. It's that weird attitude. It's like, I'm in this thing that is all about this other thing, but we don't like that. We're going to change that.
Dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. I am.
Yeah, well, that campaign's not going to go very far because she's apparently been fired. And the audience seem to agree with that because there's a lot of dislikes on this video where she's yapping her mouth off. So we're going to take a look at... Yeah, I'm sorry about this. Alterioi, I've butchered the name, I'm sorry. But we're going to take a look at their video. Made her an example, Rachel Zegler. Fired from role. So if you don't know, she's been cast from Disney... by Disney as the role of Snow White. Not anymore, but you'll get information on it.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So and we absolutely wrote a Snow
This is
White
some of that interview.
that is
Not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love.
Yeah, they certainly are. Now listen, if Disney wants to make more woke films that tank at the box office, they are more than welcome to do that.
They've been doing that for a
Maybe think
while.
of an original idea. Maybe not destroy a classic from my childhood and put an actress in there that not only hates the plot and the storyline of the movie she's in, but also seemingly hates Snow White, the character herself. I mean, that.
The thing is this is like so common now, is these actors keep getting cast in these Disney films who don't even like appreciate or enjoy the material and just want to change everything. Just make a different movie then that's actually the movie that you want to make, rather than butcher what is an original that people have such a fondness for. It's pure narcissism and it's horrible.
That's one interview clip that you read the quote from, but she's gone on to talk about this film numerous times, how she once thought Snow White was creepy, she doesn't like the prince, she thinks she should get paid more because she has to wear that dress.
Get out the way.
Get out the way.
Once in a while, there does seem to be justice, doesn't there? And it's about time that people learn from their freaking mistakes. Well, I can't really say much for learning from mistakes, but be corrected for their actions. Because never did I ever imagine that people would feel entitled enough to seem untouchable for making their employers look bad.
The reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago. It's extremely dated.
You can see in the facial expressions how much sort of despisement she has, if that is a word, for the actual material she's working on. Like, if you got cast in like a Disney film or something like that, wouldn't you be like super making it the best film you could make it and doing what it is that they kind of want to do? But she's already from the get-go like, nah, this is how things are going to be. Such a huge attitude on someone so young who I've never heard of. Where did she have the gravitas in the first place to have this attitude? What has she done in life to earn this level of, I can tell you what things should be?
When it comes to the ideas of women being
Contempt. That's the better word. Contempt, yes.
roles of power. She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Doesn't this just seem like such a fun movie? That actress is so smug and this
Yep.
movie's gonna flop.
Rachel Zegler
I can't
has
wait.
been a menace to Hollywood society. Her entitled and repulsive attitude towards
Repulsive. There you go. That's another good word.
products of the studio that she was working for representing towards the fans, towards people, and just in general, has gotten everybody to converge and form a temporary alliance in their absolute despise of what she represents. And there was a rumor floating around that she was going to be fired. Now, Snow White, the movie, was already made at the time it was announced, so I didn't think she'd be fired from that movie, but it turns out that she was supposed to also be in Paddington 3, and they decided to drop her ass. Because fun.
Ooh. Well, you speak out with that level of attitude, especially the horrible contempt she has, and other people are looking at it, her other future employers, and thinking, we might not want this one on our team. Seems like a bit of a live wire.
Funny enough, I know, tickle me red. It's actually bad for business to have somebody out there gawking their everlasting throat about things that make everyone divisive. You want people to watch your movie. You're supposed to be part of the marketing.
You're supposed to be, yeah, promoting. That's the whole point, promoting it. She just spends the whole time shitting on it. It just sounds bad because you're just being bitter. And no one wants to hear someone yap around being bitter. It's okay to have a criticism here and there, but when almost every word that spews out of her mouth comes across as some vile, like, knock on the original, you're going to be like, why are you even here?
Campaign for the movie. People are supposed to want to come and see you, and I can't imagine that somebody would not be aware of how much they're actually sending people away. Sending people running from the hill. Now, with the Hunger Games movie, when this was announced, people were like, I don't want to see that if she's in it. Just the very fact that she's in it now is turning people off. It's kind of like that Subway guy a few years ago when he got caught with questionable situations.
Oh, hell no.
If anybody saw that guy on the front page of another product that he decided to work for or represent, they would immediately boycott that thing, regardless of how much they've supported it in the past. It's like bad juju. And that's what Rachel Zegler is for movies. It's disgusting.
There's a lot of clips here.
Since she's supposed to be representing a princess.
She just looked up on, which Giphy or something like that, disgust, and just chucked a whole bunch of these clips up.
At the time this marketing campaign started, one of the most affable and amiable and sweet people. It's ironic that she has more in common with the evil queen. Funny enough, the character who was portrayed by some.
You say, Eroshelle says, was that the only interview of her? Maybe there's another one where she praises the part she liked. I mean, if you have a part where she's very positive about the film, feel free to link it, but I've not seen one.
Who ironically exudes more elegance than she does. It makes sense why they would fire someone like her, because she is costing the productions a lot of money by turning people away from seeing it. The dregs of people who were going to see it in the first place. And I hate to bring this up, but there was a double standard that was happening. And whenever actors, specifically men, had a scandal attached to their name, or there was just some drama or allegation against them, they were immediately cut from every production that they were supposed to be starring.
Poor Johnny.
Without even being
absolutely true. But
proven.
You have to sympathize with Amber Heard because her dog got stung. It stepped on a bee.
Guilty or innocent or whatever. However, you would have people like Rachel, who claim to champion for femininity, and women being the worst representation of not only the studios that they're working for, but also of the community they claim to be representing or be proud to be representing. And they're doing a bad job at both. And it's like the studios don't get this until they start losing money, and it takes a few years before they understand. And funny enough, others.
Money talks. At the end of the day, you can only have so much of an opinion and a voice out there until it starts costing you. And then you have to start thinking about what you're saying. And that's basically what Disney have been doing for a while now, and even Marvel.
Studios will see someone else falling over the cliff, and they'll think to themselves, wow, they just fell over that cliff. I better go do it too. Must be the new trend. And I guess it takes them an entire era of existence to realize that this might not be a good idea and it actually costs money. I mean, it's not like they didn't have sources of history to prove that when you turn off the audience or try to reward entitled people that turn against the audience or make your product look bad or talk shit about your product, that you'll start hemorrhaging cash.
So I've lost a ton of money, but I'm holding. I still believe.
But yeah.
That's kind of how it goes. They lose a lot of money and they still hold for a while. But if they just keep losing money, how long can you do it for? You can't make movies if you literally don't have any money in the first place. And it's hard for movies to make money now. People go to the cinema and not enough people go to the cinema. Like, even good movies sometimes struggle to get enough bums on seats to actually make the production of the movie, the cost of it, worthwhile. It barely makes a profit these days. Hey, thank you very much there, Bobo, for the sub.
Yes, in the end, it does come around back to finances. Now, it's funny because they'll claim that Zegler's role in the movie has been recast due to her unavailability caused by the Screen Actors Guild American Federation of Television and Radio Artists strike for better wages. Kind of funny if you think about it. Protection against artificial intelligence and more.
That Rap's filming in 2 weeks and she was recast due to strikes. Due to strikes. Oh, that was the reason, of course.
Sure it was. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like something that someone would say as a means of plausible deniability, so she can't say, you discriminated against me because you didn't like what I said. And they could just say no because you weren't available, bro. It is what it is. I mean, if that were really the case, it's just odd to me because at the time the article that came out said that according to Scooper Daniel Reitman's Twitter post, Padding 3 is approximately 2 weeks away from finishing production. Now, it did also say that given that the film largely stars European actors who aren't a part of SAG-AFTRA, the movie began filming in the UK on July 24th without Zegler. It was initially believed Zegler would join the production once the SAG-AFTRA strike ended. However, while SAG-AFTRA is now set to resume negotiations, it appears the movie is moving forward without her. Conveniently so. I think they're just glad for the opportunity because no one wants to be in that position to just outright say, you know what, you're kind of a sucky person and we saw how you handled your other employers, so we're gonna have to let you go because even all the work you've done, we don't want you here. Like, it's much easier to say, no, it's because it's just inconveniencing us, so we're just gonna recast her. Probably the best decision.
That face. Yeah, it's tricky because that's what you get. You get what you get. If you employ these type of people, you know what you're getting into, or at least you should do. So when they start sprouting their mouth off and then you start to try to get rid of them, don't be too surprised if they try to sue you for it because they're probably the type of people to do that. So they have to be very careful about the way they sort of denounce her position in the project without sounding like they're discriminating against her or it's some sort of legal case that could be made against them. You know, you are what you eat in a way. You get what you get. Like, if you hire as a business people that are going to cause trouble, or at least they're more likely to cause trouble, when they do cause more trouble, don't be too surprised about it. And then if you try to get rid of them, well, guess who's going to be causing trouble? The person that you hired that you knew was quite likely to cause trouble.
They could ever make, regardless of what the reason. I can imagine.
See, we got this guy again now. Movies used to be a platform to escape the real world and have fun. Now it's just sad people pushing their politics and virtual signaling. I mean, it's happened so much now in recent movies that even movies where there isn't necessarily an agenda being made, you can't help but watch it and feel like maybe there is. Do you know what I mean? There's this almost level of paranoia. When I saw the original Aliens film or Terminator 2 or any of those movies, I never thought, oh, wow, why is this Sarah Connor woman so strong? And why is she sort of being promoted so much in this movie for her fierce independence and, you know, badass attitude? If that movie came out today, I'd be wondering that, you know. But in the original days, I never even thought about it. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't even be something that's on your mind. So it makes you so sort of negatively skeptical of movies and the productions and what's their real agenda.
And people who were interested in seeing Padding would be very happy to know that she's no longer going to be a part of it. But this also cost them a lot of money because now they have to reshoot all of that. Whatever they did shoot already, recast her, that cost them a bit. All in all, I'm not saying that Rachel Zegler or people like her should never be able to work again. I just believe that there's a certain level of quality and professionalism that is expected from actors. And this used to be the thing before. Now, we were all born around the advent of social media, but you do see older clips and people from older generations and how they carried themselves in interviews and you realize that there were direct consequences for their action. A lot of their viewpoints they kept to themselves because there wasn't really a way for them to come out and broadcast it and for it to continue barreling out of their mouths with no freaking filter. It's not that it's wrong for them to have their own opinion, but at the moment when you're representing a movie or a production, you should keep that shit to yourself so you don't divide your fan. Weird.
I mean, that's very true. Because you're most likely going to polarize people at the end of the day. Like, You can have your own opinions, but as soon as it goes into political business and such, then you're going to find people that suddenly were into you are going to be put off because they feel another way. And then if you're really polarizing, then, well, you're just going to piss everyone off. The Robin Hood rating stuff? No, I'm not seeing that. Robin Hood's tree. Yeah, the sycamore tree. Although some kid tried to grow a new tree next to it, which was quite sweet. Good sentiment.
It's weird, like
Okay.
she said. If you're starring in a movie about cars or car racing, and then during your press interview, you're like, I think car racing sucks. I mean, that's so
Yes.
freaking archaic. You know what I mean? This car racing thing is not going to
That's
focus
what this
so
comes
much
across
on car
as.
racing, but on the woman behind the wheel. People are going to look at you like, the fuck, bitch? Just what? Don't even speak. Where is your PR? Like, obviously these people are trying to get people to not see the movie, because if there was ever a way that I needed ASAP to repel people as fast as possible or sabotage my own production, you would be the face of that. You would be the very thing I would use. You are Raid for movie audience goers. Like, it's just weird. I don't know. It's not such a bad thing that this is happening, because people need to understand that they need the audience members to make them. You cannot be a celebrity without people seeing you as such. And when you start to put yourself on that level that is like below humanity, or the basic way people should treat other people, from being so high up, you become distasteful. You become like a rotten egg. The star-spangled sparkles in your eyes start to fade away, and people are broken from out of that trance that made them.
Mystery is a lot more important to people than they realize. So the more you know about someone, the less intriguing they are, and the less gaps that you can fill in yourself as to who you think that person really is. So social media is really this platform where a lot of these egotistic people spout off all of their beliefs like crazy multiple times a day, and it's just blah 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 blah, and it's just shut the fuck up.
Even believe that there was anything remotely magical about you being a celebrity. Now you just look like a grade A asshole, or somebody on the street that they walk by every day, which technically that's what celebrities are. They just have more money. But you now look below them. Celebrities are supposed to be people that represent something that people should aspire to. It's not that you should idolize them, but you should at least look at this person and say, you know what? This person embodies what I would like to be someday. I can aspire to be this, like this person. Even if they have personal stuff going on, and we realize that they're human beings too, the way they represent themselves to look good for the productions that they are part of, or for themselves basically, because you're selling your image. You want people to come and see your movie, like Henry Cavill, Argyle, that movie that came out in the trailer. I immediately want to see it because he's in it, because he represents that class that a lot of.
Wait a second. What is this? This looks familiar. Warcraft Free Reforged Ufa. Paladin. See if we can get it. I know where I can find it if I can't find it straight off the bat. There it is. The Paladin haircut. Why are they giving Henry Cavill? They say Cavill. I call him Cavill. Henry Cavill myself. Look at that. It's the same haircut. Why?
Actors lack. Gal Gadot also represents that elegant class. She may be a shitty person behind closed doors, but how she carries herself, it makes me secure as a person. If I were to be like a director or something, that I could send her out there and say this, speak good about the movie, and I could trust that she will represent our company or production well. But not just that, the actors in times gone by would represent themselves.
I think it's just have a sense of professionalism, because on the one side, the benefit of Rachel Zegler is that she's honest, I guess, at least. She's open. Now, what she's honest and open about is obnoxious, which is what has turned people against her. But you know more what you're getting, so there's that approach. And if there's another actress or actor that is an absolute dickhead off the camera, but completely professional in his role, you can appreciate that aspect. But at the same time, if they're a complete dickhead you'd almost want to know, so you're not supporting them or being lulled into supporting them. But then again, that's just life. Some people are just massive dickheads, and you find out later on in life. It happens. Just be
though, because
professional.
They understand that
At
this
the least.
production that they're a part of isn't going to be the only work they're going to have. They're going to need more work later on. That's how acting works. You have to have other people call you on, and some actors have fallen out of that realm. Not of any wrongdoing that they've done, but simply because a movie just didn't do well.
Oh,
and
Maverick.
They're attached to that movie, and it just sucks.
I love
and
that
they're
movie
never
as a
called
kid.
back again. So it actually is beneficial to the actors themselves to make themselves look marketable for themselves. And Rachel not only made the production look bad, worse than it already did to begin with, that wasn't really wholly her fault, but she made herself look bad. I will still want to see anything that Gal Gadot is in, even though she's tied to the stupid Snow White movie. I don't associate her with the Snow White movie because she, as an artist and a celebrity, is something that I aspire to. She's very elegant, and graceful, and poised, and sweet, and down to earth. She is the perfect candidate for someone I want representing my movie.
Jesus.
So if she stars in something else, or Henry Cavill, or Denzel Washington, I will watch it just because of...
That reminds me. Equalizer 3. I need to see that at some point.
people are in it. Now anything attached to Rachel, just because she's so repulsive, I will stay away from it regardless of what it's about. Like the Hunger Games movie I really wanted to see. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think about it? Do you think this is actually a good thing regardless of the reason it is they fired or recast her in the first place? For actors to be shot down a few pegs and realize that they need the audience and the fan. I figured also with acting that when they went to school, if she even did, that one of the things they teach you is how to speak to people. Maybe that's not a thing anymore because of social media, but before I thought they were
Media
trained
training.
on the art of presentation so that you don't make yourself look like an ass. I don't know what happened along the way, but somebody gypped her. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, the answer.
Old Tory, there we go. That's how it's pronounced. Yeah, good video. I enjoyed that. Check out the channel. She's a lot bigger than mine, but it's a good video nonetheless. Well presented and good opinions. So, yeah. What do you think? Do you think Rachel Zegler should have been fired? I think at the very least, she certainly should have got a harsh talking to, but maybe she did, and she still kept firing off herself until she got fired.